Hi, folks. This is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. You know, one of the things that I know we've covered a lot, but I want you to be aware of something, and I think it can make you not only a better fisherman, but actually save money because you won't be losing as many of those high-priced lures that we have to buy today. And that is one of the most important elements to our tackle is the line we use, and we've talked about that a lot. But the knot that we use to either attach the lure to the line or to attach leader to the line so that where the lure is attached, the fish can't see, and it allows your lure to go. And what I'm talking about now is the reason you use a leader. But the knot that you use is so critical. And I'm not going to go into explaining knots. But what I want you to understand is that every type of line that we use, if it's braided line, that's what it's called, braid, certain knots don't work well with braid. It loses half its strength. The same thing with fluorocarbon line, which I've raved about recently because unlike the other lines, it naturally sinks. Unlike the other lines, it's pretty much invisible. And unlike other lines, it tends to be more abrasion resistant so that it won't be cut and you won't lose as many lures because the rocks on the bottom of the water have frayed your line and made it break. However, certain knots with fluorocarbon line, it just slips out of it. They don't hold. And it's the same with monofilament. And I tend to use basic knots that I learned as a kid. Some of those were really good. Polymer knot is an absolutely great knot, and you can look that up. And that will work better on most lines than, for example, the improved clinch knot that as a kid was the first knot that I tied. And all I used as a kid was monofilament, and it worked okay. But really, this is a hugely important thing that I'm telling you. You know, I'm not good at tying knots, truthfully. I can look at diagrams and I don't understand them as well as probably a lot of other people. But I know my buddy Rust has told me, he says, every time I want to tie this knot, I look it back up and I follow the diagrams. I haven't got it quite down in my memory yet. And that's the case with a lot. And you can do that. Even if you have your phone with you and you're fishing, and you can look up certain knots, you could look up what's the best knot to use with fluorocarbon line, and it'll show you either one or two knots that work really well. This is so important, and I still lose an awful lot of lures when I go out and fish my favorite tributaries because my line breaks, and it breaks way before the actual knot strength of the actual strength of that line. So it's important that you tie the right knot, and you can look them up, and probably for most of you, you'll be able to figure it out a lot easier than I do. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.